Hello everyone, I'm William Edver, I'm working for IDERA. We will see today a webinar regarding how to document a database with RStudio. RStudio, I will start with some few slides and then I will show you the products. So RStudio is a solution which will help you to model information using diagrams directly with the solution. We will be able to connect to different solutions such as to do like reverse engineer, forward engineer, import some different data sources from different models. And we can connect all these different tools together, and we can also synchronize with other solutions to have directly information in our solution. For more details, what we can do, we can easily connect and import some database to generate the physical models, for example. We can do the same with some JSON file, with some CSV file, and so on. When we generate this physical model, we will be able to generate also the logical data model. And we can also manage some glossaries with terms, and we can link all these terms together and all these different objects together. Moreover, when you have different models, you can promote or create some new models for your enterprise. And what you can do with these different models, you will be able for your different projects to link all these different solutions. When you have in your model an entity customer, for example, I will be able to link it to this table, this entity client in this logical model, and to this table client directly from the solution, and I will be able to see in the solution where my entity is definitely is used in the different project. So and I can also directly link all these different objects to business terms. Like I said, we support glossaries, and we can directly link these terms, and I will show you during the demonstration how it can be useful to have all these things. Moreover, we can, like I said, if we have several different projects, we can directly import these different projects, and we will be able to link all these object entities together, terms, and we will be able to directly see, for example, here my client will be available here as customer, here as client, and so on, and I will be able to see where all these objects are used in the solution. Regarding the different products, we will have a SIG client, which is RStudio Data Architect. This is a tool that you will install on your desktop, and you will be able to reverse engineer, to generate, to create some new models directly in the solution, and you will be able to compare and merge your current diagram with databases or with other models, and to directly implement, for example, the alter script to update the database or directly update the properties of the different projects. We can work with a repository, so we can do some check-in, check-out to be able to work together on the same model. I will check out the project and the object. I will change some properties in my entities. For example, I will check in my update in the repository. My colleague can do the same, and then we will be able to do some versioning, some name release, and we will be able to use the universal mapping, which is the link I showed in the previous slide, between my enterprise model and my different projects. Moreover, we have a web server, so you can connect through a web browser. I will show it during the demonstration. So Team Server Core, when you have your project in your repository, you can publish it to a Team Server. You can manage with a repository or Team Server. You can manage rights, permission to allow specific users, specific groups to access only this resource, to update this resource or not, and so on. You can also directly browse everything directly from your browser. You can see your different diagrams. You can directly navigate to your different objects. You can see your business terms and navigate and view the different links between these different objects directly from your browser. So you don't need to install Data Architect except if you want to to create or to reverse some existing data sources before pushing it to the repository. Moreover, we can also manage business glossaries and terms, and we can synchronize our solution. For example, we have a link with Colibra, and we also have an integration with Wordscape 3D, and so you can export your logical, physical model, dictionary, physical models, and you can directly import them in Wordscape, or you can directly synchronize your glossaries and terms from Colibra with Team Server. That's it for the demo, for the slides, and we are now going to the demo. Regarding my settings, I have here I'm working on a laptop. On my laptop, I have installed, like I said, Data Architect, which is a C client, but I also have a virtual machine. In this virtual machine, I have MS SQL running, and my repository and Team Server are using this MS SQL to store all their metadata in this database. Otherwise, I also have a PostgreSQL database that I can reverse directly from my Data Architect. Okay. And so, like I said, I can use a web browser to directly connect to my Team Server. So, like I said, we can reverse engineer some database. So I can connect, for example, to PostgreSQL. And that's it. I type my username, password, or my credentials. I can connect through a DBC. I will show you after we can connect directly with a native connection, but doesn't change anything. Okay. From here, I will be able to select the different kind of objects that are supported by the solution regarding the specific platform. I can select the different owners that I want to use to reverse directly. For example, I can click OK, select my public owner. Automatically, it took all the different tables and added to my selected object. Okay, can click next. From here, I can infer some primary keys. I can infer foreign keys from the name. For example, if I have two different tables, but I don't have a relationship between my two tables in the constant, I can infer the foreign key by using the same. If it is a primary key in one table, which is the same name in another table, it will automatically generate for you the relationship. We can infer domains. For example, if I have a postal code, zip code, I will be able to generate a domain, and every time I will use a postal code, I will use this domain instead of specifying directly this data type, data length, and so on my column. I will specify it directly in my domain, and if I need to change this value one day, I will just change it from my domain, and it will be applied directly to all my columns. If I reverse some views, I can automatically get my different tables from which are used by the view to validate the views. I can select the layout. If you have lots of, here it's a small database, but if you have lots of tables, I recommend to suggest to use a circular one, which is faster for the first run. You can always change the layout after. Click next. Here I will use, we can specify if you want to reverse a relational database or a dimensional one. So for a data warehouse, usually for RDBMS, usually. And I can specify a naming standard template. So here I have a naming standard template, which will allow me to specify some rules. For example, my tables will be in columns will be in uppercase. My attributes and entities will be with camel case, and I will have some other rules to automatically translate the name of my tables to more readable names. If you are using some custom data types, you can always create these data types directly in the solution, how it will be mapped between your custom data types and the database and the model. And I can save my configuration to replay this wizard. If I plan to run it weekly, for example, I will save my configuration. I can reload all my different settings in the first page of this wizard. When I click finish, automatically it connects to my database, and it has automatically generated for me the physical data model. Okay. And from this physical data model, it has also generated for me my logical data model, and I can see here my different objects. Here I have, for example, employee, my entity employee. I can double click, I can see its different attributes. I can see for each attribute data type. I can see the definition which comes from the comment in my column in my database, for example. So it's been also reversed. So document it will be very useful. If I look in my physical data model, you can see here that my table is EMP and not employee. Here it is AGY. So it comes from my naming standard template. So like I said, you have used a long naming standard template. So if I go to my folder to show you the file I used, right, this is the one. So I have a description. Then I have some rules regarding the naming, the case, like I said. The same for logical, physical, and my mapping, where I can see, for example, ICT will be translated in account, and it is in both directions, depending if I doing some, if I go from my physical model or to my logical one. Okay. So I have automatically reversed my database and generated my two models. From there, you can create you can create if you need some models. If you want to only display some parts of your model, for example, or to create some different information. For example, I can create a new model, which I will name employees. Okay. Employees. Like this, I will put my employee and employee scheme, my two entities, employee and employee scheme matrix, for example. And now I have another diagram with only these tables. Everything is still available in my main model, but I can focus on specific tables. So if, for example, you reverse hundreds of tables, I will suggest to create some models to work on specific subject or specific concepts directly in the solution. And from here, you can also change, for example, if I want to change the display of my object, I can specify that I want to see the data type, if it's null, different option depending on what I want. And here you can see my model has been updated, and I can display whatever I need. Okay. Some other example from the data I already reversed earlier. Work on. So here I have another database. I have reversed the database. I have my different tables. Here I have used for each project, you will be able to manage data dictionaries. So I have in this project two data dictionaries. I am connected to my repository, and I have used the repository. So I have checked in my data dictionary, and I have promoted one as an enterprise data dictionary. So all these fields, I can directly import them in any project. So when I log in, I'm disconnected. So I log into my repository. I will automatically log into Team Server also to get business terms from my glossaries. Okay, I am now connected. So like I was saying, I can add my diagram. So when I create a new one, I will be able to add this diagram to the repository. I can get a project from from the repository, which has already been shared by my colleagues or myself. Check in, check out about the object. Like I said, we can branch, merge all the usual tasks for repository. And the same. And here I have, like I was saying, I have enterprise data dictionary, so I can always get link my enterprise data dictionary to my project. So once you have documented some information, you will be able to reuse this information to document your project. So here, for example, I have different object in my data dictionary, which just to be clear, it is the data dictionary is technical. This is not the business and glossaries, the terms from the business glossaries. I will show it later. So here, for example, I have created some attachment. Attachment are just properties. I can create a folder like this. Here I have created some data stewardship, and for each for this type of property, I have created some attachment, and for this attachment, when I click on it, I have the name of the attachment. I can describe what it is, and then I will be able to specify the value or the kind of value I want for this kind of attachment. So if you have custom properties that you want to integrate in your metadata, you will be able to create some attachment. And so when you use this attachment, for example, here, you can see that I have my attachment directly visible. So I did the same just as before. I have checked my attachment and data security information. This is what we see here. And so we have the attachment visible, directly visible. We can see the same for data security. If you have a trial version, don't hesitate to right click and to see generate default security information. This is what it will generate automatically for you. So if I click compliance mapping, for example, this one is a text list. So the architect will be able to choose in this list value from this list. So if I go if I edit my entity, from here I have my attachment bindings available. And if I go to my security information, I will see my compliance is available here, and I have my list. And this is how you will set up your value for the compliance mapping for this value for the entity. And you can do the same at the attribute level, if you are on a physical one. Here you have the attachment, and here you have the security information. So you can always put, for example, here I will say that the client year of birth will be privacy level, which is highly confidential. Okay, it has been updated. So this is a data dictionary. You can create rules. This one is numbers should be positive. Here I have some state code for as a reference value that I will use in my domain. I have a domain zip code and state. So if I go to state, I will see that the default one is not available. This is the one I have chosen. Sorry. And for the reference value, I have here all my different state code, and I will be able to use all these different domain directly on my field. And to illustrate it, for example, I have another subdomain. In this subdomain, you can see that I will display my different attributes, and for these attributes, I will also display the different the domains that I use for this attribute. And if I go to my postal code, I can see the domain which has been defined. And like I said, all the values come from the domain from my data dictionary. Okay, and I will see here my rules. I have the default value, stuff like this. Okay, it was for the state, for example. If I go to not available. It's available here. And reference value here. Sorry. Okay. So this is the domain. You can use the solution if you have, for example, a data vault. You can manage your data vault directly. If I have some link, satellites, hub, I can manage directly. Can show my data vault in my data architect if I need to. I can create even a concept. So we have a business data object. Business data object. I can like this create some object. Which contains other entities. So if for example, if I expand this node, I will be able to see that my customer concept contains my hub customer, but also two satellites for the life cycle of my data. And here in my transaction, I can see my link, which is link to my different hubs. Okay. We also provide as documentation, we can create some data lineage. So, for example, regarding the data vault I just showed, I can easily create a data lineage which will show how my different objects are populated. For example, when I create a hub for a table, so here I have my source table, and in my data vault I will have this hub. So, for example, I will have a transition here, which will the transformation, and in this transformation I will specify that this column is is as input. This one is output, and can specify my rules, copies business key value, insert, can specify the code. I can also, if I need, use some data some attachment like I explained earlier. Okay, and so I can easily document all my the life cycle of my data and where it comes from and what it populates and so on. Okay, so that's it. We can also use this business data object. For example, in this example, I will have a sub model, which is being used to create a conceptual data model. So here we will have the different concepts, skill, department, employee. This is the first database we have reversed from Postgre. And I can expand, like I showed earlier, we can expand this business data object to show the tables that are involved in our different concepts directly. Regarding the different sources that we can manage, we can directly, for example, if I check here, we have data architect technical specification. In this web page, we have the list of the different platforms that we can reverse directly. I will share this link, not Teams. This is here, chat. Maybe you already did, I don't know. Okay. So this is a different platform that we can connect to. We can also import data from using some bridges, and like you can see, the list is quite long. So usually there's no issue to import data from the solution. And then yeah, that's it. We can, from this list, what I wanted to show in this model, you can see that we support hierarchical structure. So when you have database like Google BigQuery, MongoDB, you can always import this sort of database. You can also, like I said during the slide, import some JSON file. So here we have a JSON file, and you can see the structure of this file. And if we look at the logical view, we can see in this model that I will have, for example, this is a library model which has been reversed. So here I have a book. For this book, I will have a publisher. I will also have for my book in my book I will have some chapter, some section. So here you can see that the corners are squared. And here they are rounded. And this object is contained in my in this object. So if I double click, I can see the different fields that are included in my chapter. My name is slow. I don't know why. Okay. So I can see here my different object. I can directly navigate to it. As usual, I can use attachment and different option from this solution. And when we generate the object, you can see that here I have my library. In my library, I will have book, and in book, I will have my chapter, which, like I said, will be included in my object. And I can double click the relation. It is not a relationship as with primary constraint. Okay, it will be a containment relationship. So I will specify here that this is containing, and the parent. So this one is will be the container. Okay, when I will generate it. And then, so you can, for example, for MongoDB, this is a database which will be generated, and I can view it as a usual relational database. And here we can find the rounded corner to show the nested object directly visible. Okay. So earlier we have a reverse database which was PostgreSQL. I told that I will reverse also with native connection. So here I can directly select, for example, my MS SQL server, the one I show in my slide with my server. So So I will copy the name of the server. This is team server, I will show after. I will connect directly here. My credentials. I will have but I have different sort of different kind of authentication. From this data, from this wizard, I will select my database. I have different. Which one? I took this one. It is the same in my MS SQL and in my PostgreSQL. Sorry. Automatically get all my database. I can also get the capacity planning from my column and tables. So if I want to know the size of the data in my database, I can get this information during the reverse too. I'll show you where we can find it. The same option that we saw earlier when we reverse PostgreSQL. I will use the same template. I can specify just to show you the different notation. I will specify dimensional even if it is a relational one. Close. So my database from this time MS SQL. So if I double click, like before, I have my attributes. I can see the definition which comes from an extended property comments in my SQL. And I told you that I will show you. So here I am on my logical data model. So I have information regarding my logical model. If I go to my physical one, here I can see that I have reversed an MS SQL server 2017. You can see as I have selected the option for a dimensional one, you see that the design is different. And if I double click my EMP table, see my name here, I see my different columns, and we can see here capacity planning. So when I reversed, there was only one row in this table, but I have some different information which has been grabbed during the reverse. And I will have, if I have some constraint, storage information, where it is used. This is when you have your project in your repository, you can easily see where your project is used. I can show in the slide at the beginning. And that's it for the different options. I spoke also about the repository and team server. So team server, the web server that you can, where you can connect using your web browser. So when you go to your server, so like I explained earlier, it is in my VM, it is installed. So I will connect using my credentials. I will log in. Automatically, it will load my home page. And from here, what I can do is I can directly navigate from here to the different projects that I have shared from my data architect. Okay, from the repository one. When I get the diagram, I will see the same structure as the one that we are currently seeing. Okay, this is the structure that I have created in my repository. So if I go back to team server, from here you will see your different project. So for example, I show you earlier the database that we have reversed with the conceptual data model. For example, the conceptual data model that I show you, if I click here, I can see my object directly from here. I can directly navigate to my business data object that we have created for this concept. I will be able to see the involved entities. When I click my entity, I will see very easily to navigate in the solution. I can see the definition, the different attributes, and so on. So, and each time you will be able to click and to navigate to the different object. I can see where it is used. This entity is used in this different project. I can navigate to my project. I can see this one, and each time you can. This is not just. This is not an image. This is directly my model visible from here, and I can directly navigate to this view, for example, and to view all this detail. I spoke earlier about glossaries and terms, so I can create as many as I want glossaries. I can have some glossaries containing other glossaries if I want. And from here, I can navigate and search for any term. So, for example, if I search for party, I can see the definition of the word party, person who are directly involved or interested, and so on. Okay, I have my definition from here. I can always follow some objects or terms in my solution. So, if I want to be notified, I will be able to get some emails notifying me that this object has changed, this definition from this term has changed, and stuff like this. What we can do with the terms, we can manage some ontologies. We can, for example, party will be split in organization and person. Person will be split in adult, child, employee. Like as always, we can double click and to navigate and see different objects from here. So I have navigated to a different term. I can see for this term, for example, who are the other terms it is related to. So I have employee, which is related to department. I have my link like this. If I want to relate another term, I just have to search for the term and I will see it and I will be able to click relate and to specify how I want to relate it. I can switch the direction. I can specify the verbs to display. And if I go back here, this is how it has been created and it is automatically generated when you navigate in the interface. Okay. But however, moreover, what we have created, we have terms, so we can create them directly from here. Like from here, I can create my different terms. I will attach it to glossary and so on. But like I said earlier, we have an integration with Colibra, and we can specify how we set up our connection, how to link this, for example, here. If I click here, you can see that business term will be linked to this different object in my yeah. It will be better. For example, for my tables, I will link description with definition in Team Server. Colibra will be description and so on. And then you can directly specify which model you want to synchronize, and it will automatically synchronize your different business terms between the solution. And what I wanted to show is when you have all these different terms in your solution, I showed the relate just before, but you can relate, like I said in the slides, with the green lines in my slides. You have here also the employee terms will be also related to different objects in my solution. So, for example, in this specific project, works, it will be linked to in my logical model to these different entities. It will be also linked this one that we have seen together to this employee full time, the same for the database, and I can expand all of them if I want, and I will be able to navigate wherever I want also from this screen. Okay. The data lineage I show you, I can also see my data lineage directly in this project. For example, if I go here, the one I showed you earlier in my model, I can zoom in and you can see that my all my different information available in my data architect will also be available in my team server if I need to share everything to my colleagues, to different people involved in the project. And like I said, we can manage some rights if we want to. If I go back, for example, here, you will see permission, and I can specify the user or the groups where I want to, who can do what regarding this object. I can specify if you can read it or not, and so on. So here it is not checked because the parent is already available. So that's it. Anil, if you want to, if you have some question, if you have from the chat, if you have some specific points I missed, you want to add, do not hesitate.
Oh no, everything is good. I think we just have a couple of Questions, is he primarily working on team server? Well, it's a combination. He has first launched ER Studio. He's checked in the model into the repository, and then he's showcasing that published model in team server. Yeah. Yeah, and then he's showing you the diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you here, what you are seeing, just to illustrate what you are seeing. If I click on publish model, you will have the option, and you can find the same structure, and you will see here that, for example, this one, I just this morning I was updating the solution, local time. That's it. And you can specify which model you want to publish. This one, I don't want to publish it, so it won't be available in my team server, but I can still work with the repository on this specific project and so on. Any other question?
No. They said that you provide a link to the slide, so I told them that this session is being recorded, so they will get a replay of the video. Yep.
Yes. Perfect. Okay.
And that's about it.
That's it. Thank you for attending. Thanks for your help, Neil. And
no problem.
And see you next time.
Awesome. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye-bye.